This is the 21st edition of Excipient Talk, brought to you by galenIQ. But how does a podcast actually come into being? That's our topic today.
1, 2, 3, 4.
So hello, and today I'm talking to Leandra. Hello, Leandra. How are you?
Hi, Michael. I'm good. And you?
Great, thanks. So great that you're here. You're always here behind the scenes, but today you're up front. And today we're going to talk about how our podcast came into being. So why don't you introduce yourself to our public?
So, hello, I'm Leandra, as Michael already said, and I'm the assistant for the Beneo Pharma team. So, involved in all the day-to-day business, but also a lot to do with marketing and working on the podcast, obviously.
Great. So, Leandra, how did the podcast actually come into being? What inspired the idea?
So I think the first time we were talking about it was at the CPHI 2024. We were talking about your LinkedIn videos, not really the podcast at first, but we were talking about how the video content was a great format, which a lot of people seem to like, and also they recognize you for it. They know the videos. And so we built on that basically. I'm not really sure who actually came up with the podcast idea in particular, but we were talking about doing a longer format, but also videos. So a podcast was a great format to test that out. And yeah, that's where we went from. And we were thinking about which platform we could use. So for videos, obviously, it made sense to do it on YouTube so people can listen to it, but also have the video to watch if they want to. And for promotion, we obviously choose LinkedIn because a lot of our audience is already there. So we can reach them there the best. That's what we hope, at least. And yeah, that's how we started all of it.
Okay. So how did it go from the concept to actually producing the first edition?
That was really a learning by doing process, let's say, because none of us had any experience with podcasts or video editing or anything like that. So we didn't start with zero because the marketing team obviously had some microphones, headsets, and stuff like that. So we had a basic setup, let's say, but all the video editing and recording, we started with nothing basically. So I had to watch a lot of YouTube tutorials to get some insights into different tools for editing and for recording. So really learning by doing and testing out what works and what doesn't.
Right.
And together with the marketing team, we obviously also had to create a logo, a thumbnail, so people could easily recognize the podcast. So we did that ourselves.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So,
Exactly.
and what were the challenges in the process, or maybe things that weren't expected?
I think the biggest challenge is really keeping it going in a consistent way because, I mean, we have day-to-day business, obviously. So it's not always easy to find the time to record and edit the episodes on time and produce enough. So we have a little bit of backup to upload at least 2 episodes each month, which is our goal. So that's always a challenge. And it's also not that easy to keep the audience hooked for an episode. So we actually noticed that many people don't watch really the whole episode, but like snippets of it. So we're still trying to figure out how we can keep viewers hooked until the end. So that's something we still want to improve.
Yeah, so yeah, we still got a lot to do. So after 1 year now, what stood out for you and what have you learned from it?
So the thing that stood out marketing-wise is that most of our listeners find us through LinkedIn. So I think we chose the right channel for promotion there. And we also want to expand that. We are having a new LinkedIn newsletter. So we want to promote the podcast there as well. So it's always a podcast episode if we have one to fit the topic of the newsletter. And what we also noticed is that it's good for us to have people from outside, let's say, because they bring their own LinkedIn network and network in general. And that draws more people to the podcast than our own network who might already know it. So that's something we have to keep in mind as well. And in terms of topics, we noticed that those who score best are usually episodes that talk about galenIQ as a problem solver. So it makes sense for us to give a solution for problems people might have and what they can do with galenIQ to solve them.
Okay. Yeah, great. So what's up next in this second year now of the podcast?
I think it's quite simple, actually. We want to keep a steady rhythm of new episodes. As I said, we want to publish at least 2 episodes a month. So that's our goal, and it still is our goal. It was the last year, and we still want to keep that going. And we also plan to match the topics to upcoming events more, maybe, because we tried that last year for some events, but we want to take a closer look this year and try to match the topics. So that might generate a little bit more attention as well if the topic matches well to the events. And also we want to include our viewers if they have any topics they would like to see or if they want to come on the podcast themselves. So if anyone has something they want to talk about or they would like to see us talk about, they can always reach out to us and we can work on that.
Okay, how can they contact us?
They can contact any of us via LinkedIn always, or also the Beneo corporate account, or via email is also good. So
Leandra, how is it for you today, changing roles and being up front and not behind the scenes doing all the work, I must add. But so how was it today?
really weird, actually, because I'm not used to it. But I mean, it's like we always notice with other guests that you kind of get into a flow and you don't really notice that you're recording anymore and you just talk like normally, just like a normal conversation. But editing will be really weird because I will see myself the whole time.
Okay, well, thank you very much for joining today and also for the great support the whole way through this process. And yeah, thank you also for joining today, everyone. And we will see you soon in the next episode of Excipient Talk, brought to you by galenIQ.